everybody, and welcome to the second part of my Christmas series. This time I'm building Santa's workshop. Last time I built Santa's sleigh, so I'll make sure to link the video in the description in case you want to check it out. So yeah, as I said, this time I'm building Santa's workshop. And here I'm just starting out with the basic shape of the house. And as you can see, I am starting with several round-shaped balconies because I wanted the build to look kind of rounded and very dreamy and Christmassy. So I definitely made sure to incorporate lots of round shapes in the balconies and some platforms as well. So here I'm starting on the roofing, and as I said, I wanted it to look very rounded. And also I wanted to incorporate lots of towers because I thought that would look very quirky and a little bit unusual, and that's exactly what I was going for. And here you can see just how I'm playing with the roofing and making sure that it's kind of wavy. That's the shape that I wanted to go for. And yeah, so the roofing, actually I was quite a lot struggling with the roofing because I just didn't figure out the way that I really wanted it to look at first, and also later on I had to change some things up because it didn't work out in the inside. Suddenly the roof was popping through the walls and all this annoying stuff. So there was a lot of struggle, but I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out in the end. And this is where I started placing down some platforms because I wanted to have angular stairs, and I wanted them to look quite round as well. And with the normal stairs, at least at this height, if they're very, very short stairs, it's not very easy to, or you cannot really make them look round. And they always look very sharp, have sharp edges, and that I definitely didn't want that. So I use the platforms instead. It's not perfect in my opinion. I would love to have some round staircases or something like that. But yeah, I was struggling with that quite a bit as well because I couldn't get it to attach properly to the platform of the house. And that was quite annoying, but I found a way to figure it out in the end. And this is where I'm starting with the platforms on the side of the house because I wanted to place a giant Christmas tree outside of the house, and I figured it would look nice with it standing on top of something and not just on the ground in the grass. So I figured I could use the platforms and just basically place some presents around it, and that's what I did there. And I think it turned out quite well. I wanted to make the platforms look as if they were kind of like a curvy shape as well, and I didn't quite manage that, but it's good enough for what we can do at least. And yeah, that's what I came up with. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even say that yet. I started building in Windenburg, I think. It's the 64 by 64 in Windenburg. And I started without snow. Actually, I started in summer because I don't like building with snow all around because I just can't see properly, and it's so light and everything's covered in snow and it's just not fun to build. So I started out in summer, and originally my plan was to just change seasons and turn it into winter later on in the build when I'm working on the outside and decorations and stuff like that. And I did that, but I waited for what felt like hours for it to start snowing. And I don't know a cheat. If any of you know a cheat to make it snow in the game, let me know down below, because I couldn't find one that worked in my game. So I had to end up changing the lot, and I moved it up to Mount Komorebi. I think that's how you say it. And yeah, because there's always snow and it's always nice and white, and yeah, that's what I did later on. I wanted to have a balcony in the back of the house as well, not really for use purposes, but for decoration, basically, because I wanted it to look a bit more cohesive in the front and in the back. And also, I wanted to build a slide for Santa and the elves, because I think that, well, Santa Claus and Christmas and the elves and the workshop, it's all kind of very playful and childlike, and I wanted to make that appear in this build. And that's why I built the slide, because I figured it could be fun, you know, just after work to slide into the snow from the balcony. And I used a roof. Actually, that's one of these, well, I don't know what it's called, one of these half roofs. And I just placed it down and made it into the smallest possible shape. And then I just elongated the roof as much as I could, and then made it look like it's a slide coming off the balcony in the back. And what you can see here on the left, in the left corner of the house, that was an attempt of mine to. I wanted to build a kind of a cup that's filled with candy and candy canes and all the good stuff for Christmas. But that's what I came up with, but I deleted it in the end because I just couldn't stand it, and it doesn't look like candy at all. I used these cupcakes and macaroons from the debug menu, and also a cup and a vase, I think it is. And it just does not, it looks nothing like I imagined it to, so I got rid of it in the end. And then I used these doors. I think they're also mainly from Discover University. I could be wrong though, it could be Strangerville. Also the fence, actually, now I think about it, could be Strangerville as well, but I don't recall. Either Discover University or Strangerville. And the windows, I think, are base game. They are these nice swatches with the shutters, which I love in general, but in this case especially, I think it looks so nice. And the shutters are red, the windows are white. I was debating whether to use the white windows all over or just on the center with the Tudor wallpaper. And with the wood, I was thinking about adding wood-toned windows as well. But I ended up using the swatch all over the build because, well, I mean, with all the decoration, you can't really see, you can't really tell the difference that much anyway. And I think it looks kind of nice. It looks kind of like candy cane. That's what I was going for with the color scheme. So yeah, it kind of worked out in the end, I think. So now we're finally moving into the interior of the house. And first I placed down this gallery on the first floor because I wanted it to be very open, and I wanted them to be able to look down and see a nice big Christmas tree when they're working on their toys and stuff. So yeah, I placed down this gallery, and I just used some fence. I don't know, maybe it's from Get to Work, but I'm not very sure. I placed down this fence and then just deleted the center flooring so that it was an open space in that area. And for the flooring, I wanted it to look very festive and a little bit rustic, but not too much. So I went for wood all over the house, and I used this swatch from Vampires just in the center. And on the outside I used, I think it's just the base game swatch again. And I didn't want to use the vampire swatch all over because, yeah, it looked a little bit too much, and I wanted it to be kind of like a centerpiece and be something special, so I just used that in the center of the floor. And for the wallpaper, I was also just trying out some things. I was pretty sure I wanted to go for red or green, but I decided for red, at least for that room. I wanted to go for red and green, pretty classic color scheme for Christmas, and well, I mean, what can I say? It kind of works for Santa, and I didn't want to do anything fancy or special or different, so yeah, I just thought that looks the best and looks more like Christmas to me. And here I'm just starting with some detailing on the first floor, on the ground floor actually. And I used some pillars. I think these are the same pillars as I used outside, only in the wooden swatch. And then some I use these spandrels, I think that's what they're called. I think they're from Island Living. I'm not very 100% positive on that, but I think they are. And yeah, I wanted it to look as decorated and as detailed as possible. And I thought that would look very nice with the centerpiece on the floor and also with the gallery in the first floor. So yeah, I put lots of spandrels all over the place. And here I'm using these fireplaces. The one, actually it's two fireplaces. One is from the holiday stuff pack, the first one I put down, because it's, well, obviously quite festive. And I love this little thing that's on top of it, the striped, what's that called, fabric thing. And I placed another fireplace on top of it because I wanted it to have more body. So yeah, I think that looked very nice, and I layered them just over each other. And the second fireplace is from I think Jungle Adventure actually, which you wouldn't think that you have a fireplace with Jungle Adventure, but I think it is. And then I just started decorating already because well, there can't be enough decoration on Christmas, in my opinion. Actually, most decoration is from the holiday stuff pack and seasons. And what I did actually was just sorting the items that we have by pack. I just looked for straight holiday stuff pack and seasons, nothing more when it came to decoration, because I think those are just perfect for Christmas, and I love the items in this, so why struggle with finding something in other packs? And yeah, I think it makes it a little bit more easy for you as well, in case you wanna like download the build, which actually you can, and the link to the gallery is in the description if you wanna check it out. And actually, I just placed down this armchair from Cats and Dogs by the fireplace because I figured Santa, I already said that in my last video, he's quite an old man. So I don't know, did you see Christmas Chronicles? I think the Santa in that movie is, I just saw the second part, which I highly recommend it. It's just beautiful. And well, Kurt Russell in that movie playing Santa, he is I think over almost 2,000 years old, or 1,600 or something like that. So yeah, he's quite an old man, and I figured he needs to have some place to sit at some point and just relax by the fireplace. And this is actually kind of like a common area anyways, so the other rooms are pretty much just really like workshop related, and this is kind of the only common area where everyone can just chill out and just relax a little bit, because, I mean, let's be real, they can't work like all day, every day. They're elves, but, I mean, everybody has to rest at some point. So, yeah, I put this little relaxing area in the center of the house. And now we're coming on to the kitchen. And as I said, I wanted to go for the white and red color scheme for the kitchen and make it look very classic and like candy canes, because where else would you put these kind of colors if not in the kitchen? And the counters are from Base Game. just the regular white swatch, and the fridge is from Realm of Magic, and the stove as well, which I love these stove and the kitchen things from Realm of Magic in general. I think they're just beautiful. And I think it fits very well in here because I wanted to go for a little bit more of a traditional look and make things seem a little bit aged. And yeah, the fridge definitely looks aged, and the stove. So I thought that fit very well. And I put this giant island there because it kind of works as a display for some cakes and just things they might be working on at that point. And yeah, that's basically what it's for. But obviously I put down some stools as well, just so they can sit down once in a while. And yeah. And this is kind of like the woodworking room. And I placed down just a lot of these workbenches, which I think are also from base game. And I used these cupboards, I would say. I don't know, I think they're from Cats and Dogs. I could be wrong though. And then I wanted to use some debug items as well, some just carved wood figures, but I couldn't find them. I don't know why. I was pretty sure that there should be some in the debug menu, but in the debug catalog, I mean. But I couldn't find any, only these, well, I don't know the English term, only these other figures that I placed down. But so I had to make Santa, also again had to make him do some woodworking, and yeah, that's why I have all these wooden figures. And yeah, I'm just decorating these cupboards with lots of clutter, and I wanted it to look like in every room, I wanted it to look like they're all very busy and working, and there's a lot of items already done, and they're just on display and waiting for to be packaged nicely and put into presents. And yeah, that's what I was going for every room. And now we're on to the flower arranging room, which I really love to build that. I just placed down some of these flower arranging tables, which are from, where are they from? From Seasons as well. And I placed them down in a lot of different colors. They have this beautiful pastel-y swatches, which I really love. And this room is a little bit more colorful. It has some more colors than the traditional red and white and green. But I figured with the flowers and everything, it's gonna be quite colorful anyway. So yeah, I thought it could work with some more color. And in the center of the room, I put down these tables from either Seasons or the Holiday Stuff Pack. And now we're already in the first floor, and this is going to be the kind of the toy area. And yeah, here's where all the toy making gets done. And I placed these shelves from base game, and I wanted to have toys and toys all over the place, and make it as cluttered as I can possibly make it with toys and all sorts of toys. And I first didn't really know how to, because I wanted it to look like a workstation where toys are made, and I didn't really know what to use. And because we don't really have something like that, we have crafts tables for children or for kids, I think, but nothing for grown-ups. So in the end, I just used these tables from Nifty Knitting, actually, because they look a little bit like, well, there's a lot of fabric and a lot of ribbons and stuff like that, and scissors, I think. So they look very crafty. So I think that worked the best for to resemble toy making. Unfortunately, they cannot be used, which is really, it's a shame. They're so beautiful and would be so nice to have the Sims interact with them, but that's just not possible, unfortunately. And now we're already on to the next room, which is a candle making room, because, well, I mean, I figured for Christmas, what's the one thing that everybody uses the most? It's candles. So maybe you wouldn't think of candles as the perfect presents or something, but I think it's quite realistic that the elves make candles as well. Also with, Eco Lifestyle, we got these beautiful candle making stations and these beautiful candles, like the decorated candles. I don't know what you call this, but these beautiful shaped candles with different colors, and they look so nice. So yeah, I found them in the debug catalog. Obviously your Sims can make them themselves, but all these candles that I'm just placing down here, I found them in the debug catalog and just sorted by Eco Lifestyle, and they were quite easy to find actually. And I just cluttered them onto these shelves that I put down, or this shelf rack, I should say. Oh, by the way, this clutter shelf, it's this typical red clutter shelf that everybody uses. I will try to link it down below. I'm not positive I can find it though. But I will try. If you're interested, then definitely check the description box. So here we are in, I think, the last working room for this build. And this is the knitting room, which, I mean, it's not very obvious maybe for elves to be knitting all the time, but I mean, I thought they would probably be making some sweaters and just clothes in general, because it's like quite common to get clothes for Christmas as well. And these things are pretty much all from Nifty Knitting. So we have these knitting baskets, 2 different styles, and these little knitted turtles, I think it might be. And I put down a fireplace as well, because I figured when the elves just sit down and knit all the time, it could be a little bit cold, and because you're just sitting and not really, I mean, in all the other rooms you're standing and kind of more working with your body, and in this room you're just sitting down and knitting, and I figured it could be a little bit cold from time to time, so I put down a fireplace as well. So now we're on to Santa's little private space. So I placed down this bed. I think it's from Cats and Dogs, and because obviously it's quite a tight space, and I didn't want the bed to stick into the room, so I wanted it to be on the wall basically. But it's well, it's not a square room, so that was a little bit difficult. But I put the bed as close to the wall as I could, and then just placed down some shelves, these really, really basic shelves from base game, I think. And then just put some decoration, some candles, some mistletoe branches, and also some books, so he can lie there and relax a little bit. And also I put down a fireplace, obviously, because, well, I mean, if you want to relax, you need a fireplace, right? So, I placed that there as well, and some presents, which maybe I thought these presents could be really special to him. Maybe some presents that he wants to give Mrs. Claus or something like that. And yeah, I just decorated everything very, very... This time I really wanted to use only red and green and make it look like it's really meant for Santa. So now we're done with the interior, and here I'm starting with a giant Christmas tree that I told you about earlier. I placed it down on these platforms, and when I placed it there, I thought that it kind of looks a little bit lost, so I put down some more Christmas trees in different swatches, and I didn't really like the size of them. They were either too big or too small, so I used the T.O.O.L mod to size them up and customize them a little bit. And by the way, the T.O.O.L mod, if you're interested, I can highly recommend it. It's the link is in the description down below if you want to check it out. And now you can see me placing down Santa's sleigh, which I told you about in the beginning of the video, this was Christmas series part 1. So if you are interested in watching that video and if you haven't seen it yet, I will be sure to link it in the description down below. And initially I started putting some flower baskets. I actually did that right in the beginning, but I didn't show it because I ended up getting rid of those and replacing them with these Christmas trees, which I sized down a couple of times and then put them into these, I think I actually placed down half walls and just put them in there and make it look like it's a flower basket, or what do you call that? And I did that all around the house. So there's Christmas trees everywhere around the house, right next to the walls. And here you can see me just putting down some Christmas trees without decoration. I used them because they have lights, and I didn't want there to be like trees without lights everywhere, so I figured I could use these. They light up very nicely, and unfortunately they have this stuff for I don't know, I think for decorating, and that's lying underneath the tree, and that kind of sucked because I had to cover that up with some plants, and it didn't really look the way I wanted it to. I would have preferred they just stand on their own. But, well, I mean, in the end, with snow and everything, you don't really see it that much. So, yeah, I figured it's okay. And I just love how they light up, so I kept it as it is. And for the slide, I couldn't get rid of the walls that are attached to the roof, because the slide is actually a roof. So I had to cover that up as well. And I used these, I think it's ivy, wall ivy, also from the debug catalog, and it's from Base Game, and it's very, very nice. I can recommend that a lot. And here's what I told you about earlier, or in the beginning of the build. I had to change the lot because I just wasn't patient enough to wait for the snow to fall in Windenburg. So yeah, I just moved it to the 50 by 50 in Snowy Escape. Is there more than one 50 by 50? I think there is. I mean, obviously I mean the one in the mountains with all the snow, so that's why I moved it. And now I'm just placing down some lights and these fairy lights in the colorful swatch, which I thought looked very nice. And I just added some bits and bobs here and there, and obviously again these garlands, which are just gorgeous with the snow on them as well. And I tried to make it very light and well, lit actually, just to make it very, very festive. And I mean, how often can you say festive in one video? But, well, I mean, it fits the purpose. So, yeah, actually there I had the idea to put down some, like a train. I wanted it to look like there's a toy train. So at first I placed down this actual train from Snowy Escape, but and sized it down. But I didn't like that because it looks I don't know, it looks too realistic for my liking, and I wanted it to look like obvious toy train. Like it's obviously like a toy and not a real train that's sized down. So I ended up just using some actual toys and sizing them up, which they don't look quite as good because it's always, if you size items up, they tend to not look as sharp and nice as they would if you didn't do that. So yeah, there they are. I think it's just Base Game. It's like in the normal toy section in the kids menu, and I'm using several different wagons and just placing them down right behind each other. And the rails are actually from Snowy Escape, and I was so glad that I found them because they have these we have these curved rails as well. So I placed them down, and I also used this sign from Snowy Escape as well. I think it's just an onsen sign. And now these are really just finishing touches, just some decorations and lights and all that good stuff just to make it as Christmassy as possible and make everything look very, very lit and festive. So that's about it from me right now. As I said, make sure to check out part 1 of my Christmas series. The link is in the description. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you stick around until the end because I'm showing you some nice cinematic shots with some elves and Santa. So I hope you enjoy those as well. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like awesome videos by an awesome person. So make sure to stick around. This is definitely the place for you. And as I said, I'm very thankful that you watched this video and kept going till the end. And I hope I will catch you in the next one. Bye!